What's up? Welcome to Tuesday. Chad Prather Show. We're trying to figure out what's going on around here. We don't know what's going on. We don't ever know what's going on. All right, let me go to rumble.com. Did something bold, did something brave today. Everybody should try that once a day. They should try something bold and brave. You know what I did? I made Party Foul Steve a moderator in the chat. Famous last words, baby. Blow up that chat, dancing bananas, American flags. I don't care what you do. Let me get a little shot of the espresso. Blow up that chat, man. Let me see you guys. I want to jump in here. I want to talk to you today about how there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, nothing new under the sun. We read the headlines and we think that it's just breaking news. You get on X, breaking news. They put a little siren beside it. I'm guilty of doing it too, just to get your attention. There is no breaking news. Trump's about to greet the Saudi crown prince at the White House. And they're talking about releasing the Epstein files. Ooh. If people would sit with me and listen to me for just a little while, man, they could put so many more things in perspective of how this world works, guys. Man, I'll tell you, we're so, everybody's like, oh, what's coming next? Same thing that happened yesterday. Same thing that happened 1,000 years ago. You know why? Because people don't change. And that's the deal. And, people talking about releasing a file and this. You act like this little world we live in is some kind of fresh revelation. It's not. The same crap has been done for millennia. As long as people have been breathing, man. There is not one single thing that's changed. That's why I talk about this Epstein deal. People losing their freaking mind over the Epstein deal. And he's a symptom. He's not the disease. You can release every freaking file. You can have Donald Trump on it. You can have Bill Clinton on it. You can have Barack Obama on it. You can have Siegfried and Roy on the damn thing. Guess what? Kids are still going to get trafficked tomorrow. People are still going to get abused tomorrow. Because you eliminated a symptom. And should they be held accountable? Yeah, don't put words in my mouth. Of course they should be held accountable. Anybody that's done anything illegal should be held accountable. Anybody that has enacted something inhumane against another person, especially an innocent, those people need to be held accountable. But for crying out loud, man, let me turn off the Saudi crown prince. He's making me want to get new. He makes me want to get new headgear. But the thing about all of it is Cain picked up a rock and killed his brother Abel. And, people were outraged, right? The family was, scandal. God cast him out. And we're going to wake up every day and we're going to look at another headline and we're going to be like, this is what I demand. That's your sense of justice. I demand to see the files. Who are you? Who are you to demand anything? I demand it. People that get in my comment section be like, when are you going to release the files? I don't have them in the house. I mean, listen, idiot. I want justice as bad as you do, but what do you want me to do? All right, let me get the president on the phone. Let me call him up. Let me call Mike Johnson right now. And see, here's the deal. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Every time the world spits out some new headline, people act like it's the first time in human history that craziness and madness ever walked the earth. You get some new scandal, some kind of shocking betrayal, some political implosion, some division. Trump tweeted this about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she responded. Whole culture, everybody in conservative circles got a new podcast from Candace Owens. Whoopie-doo. Everybody's all wide-eyed. Can't wait to see what she's dropping today. Yesterday, she said, nothing will be the same after my show drops today. Guess what? I looked around. Everything's the freaking same. Everything's the same. Because she didn't drop a damn thing. How could this ever happen? I'll tell you how it happens. People are people. It's one of the reasons why I'm sitting there taking people to Bible study every day. Because the scripture's like that old man sitting on the porch that says, son, sit down for a minute. Let me tell you some stories. There's nothing new under the sun. Not one single thing. Solomon wrote that 3,000 years ago in the book of Ecclesiastes. You would think people would eventually catch on, but every generation thinks chaos is brand new, like they got the corner on it. Corruption is a fresh invention. Sin is a modern phenomenon. No, all we're doing is recycling ancient foolishness with better graphics and faster Wi-Fi and fiber that comes into the house. Every headline you read basically has a Bible story that mirrors it. You got power-hungry rulers. Okay, read 1 Samuel, read Kings, read Chronicles. Nations collapsing because they want personality instead of principles and charisma instead of character. Israel begged for a king because they wanted to look like other nations. That sound familiar? We just had a no kings protest. And we still want leaders who look the part instead of leaders who live the part. Oh, Trump's never wrong. Trump's never wrong. Yes, he is. Is he a man? Then he's wrong. On occasion, he's wrong. And anybody up there, he never tells us a lie. Okay, you keep believing that. I got something I want to sell you. It's a bridge. And I'm sure you believe that too. You think that political division is a new deal? Go look at Paul and Barnabas splitting up. Paul and Barnabas, New Testament, Spirit-filled Christian apostles, split up over a little dude named John Mark. Go look at the church in Corinth tearing itself apart with their little factions over who could eat meat. You're like, well, that sounds simple. It wasn't to them. It was a major deal. Humanity has always been allergic to coming together in unity. We fracture, we tribalize, we pick teams, we throw stones. You know, the Bible's already shown us all that produces is confusion and spiritual anemia. Oh, we've got sexual scandals. Read Judges 19. Go look at Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at Corinth. The ancient world didn't dabble in morality. In immorality, they majored in it, for crying out loud. They literally built their whole society around sexual immorality. You got stuff out here that we're calling progressive. Scripture says that's predictable. It's been going on. Oh, we got a dude that's dressing up like a girl. You think that didn't happen in Rome? You got a culture that tears down its moral boundaries, eating itself alive, and you act like that's a new thing. Read about the Tower of Babel and its cultural arrogance. We build these towers for our own glory, tell ourselves we're gods, and then it collapses under the weight of our own ego. That's not new. It's a rerun. All the fear, all the panic, all the nation shaking. Jesus said in Matthew 24, there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, deception, lawlessness, love growing cold. Not as a new development, but as a recurring pattern. It's always going to happen. And you're stuck in the middle of it because humanity cycles through the same foolishness until it's forced to kneel over the one king that never does change. And that's why I'm trying to point people to Jesus in these days. In my own way, I'm trying to point people to Jesus. Because it's easy to scroll through the feed and see a headline. I had to turn them off. I can't even see them. I got my TV over there. And everybody's losing their peace. They're losing their minds. They're arguing with each other. Everybody's fighting. I don't have to take time. I can get into live chat for a second. I mean, I got the trolls fighting the trolls this morning on Before the Noise. God's not surprised. Heaven's not scrambling. The kingdom's not updating a crisis management plan. I mean, every human scheme that's already unfolded somewhere in the Bible, it's already happened. Every human failure has already been documented. Every human attempt to redefine truth and reality and identity and justice and morality and purpose and power, it's already been played out in living color on the pages of the Word of God. It's in the Scripture. Yet every single time the headline pops out, we forget that God's sovereign and God remains faithful and He's the one that's undefeated. See, that's why the Bible's not an old book. It's the only book that reads you while you read it, right? It exposes the patterns. It reveals the motives. It shows you where the world is headed because it's already shown you where the world's been. So if you want perspective for the news cycle, go to the Bible, man. You want steadiness in a culture that's addicted to outrage and chaos and victimization, get in the Bible. You want to understand why humanity keeps falling and failing the same way over and over again? Yeah. Nothing new under the sun, man. And that's not a depressing statement. It's liberating, actually, because nothing is new. Then that means nothing's beyond God's reach. Nothing's beyond His control, His wisdom, His plan. Nothing unfolding today surprises the God that wrote the story yesterday. So let the world panic. You don't have to. The headlines can scream at you and history can repeat itself. But you don't have to stand in that stuff. You can anchor your soul in something that never shifts. And you know, when they say breaking news, unprecedented, you smile and say, no, it's pretty familiar, actually. And God's handled the familiar before. And He'll He'll handle it again. All right. Who's our sponsors today? Let me get back over here to this deal. Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless company out there. They use the same towers as the big three, so you don't have to worry about your coverage. You don't have to worry about losing a signal. You actually are going to get great coverage, but at a better price, and you don't have to worry about any portion of your bill that you pay every month going to these leftist, progressive, crazy causes, because they do believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They're good Christian folks over there that believe in the reasons why America was founded with a proper history, and they don't mind telling that story as well. They agree with the same things you do. So check them out. Go over to patriotmobile.com/Chad. Call them on the phone, 972-PATRIOT. You'll get a 100% U.S.-based customer service team answering the phone so you can understand them. And if you're a first responder or a veteran military hero, call them up. They'll give you free activation with promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. And if you sign up now, they give you a free month right up front. So go check them out. Switch your plan around. They got one that will fit in your budget. Guaranteed. All right, let's bring him on, everybody, before we head over to the top stories. What's Party Foul Steve doing? Party Foul, new moderator, Party Foul Steve.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so you're saying everything that has been done and said in this world has been being done for thousands and thousands of years right here in this Bible.
Right there in that book.
I agree with you because, I throw this cowboy hat on. It's that time of year.
Look at you.
So I thought I was going to have to host the show for a minute because you had to go make another cup of coffee and they started the countdown. So I threw the cowboy hat on because I keep it handy because you never know.
I went downstairs. I've got some people working in the little cabin of the woods, and a couple of them don't understand the language so well. So I'm down there using my best Spanish to talk about some work they're doing, and they're having to keep doing a couple of things over because they keep doing it wrong. And I thought to myself, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I'm telling you what you need to do, and you keep doing the wrong thing, and I go back down there, and I'm like, this isn't difficult. You're doing the wrong thing. Go back and do what I told you to do originally. And so you see these people that keep not listening and going off. So that's what's repeating. I mean, that's what repeats in our world, right? Is if you would listen.
Itself. The mistakes of our past, it's all of it. It just repeats itself.
If you could just sit there and listen to the original deal, the original instruction. Dave is in my ear wanting to know what I mean by these people. I'm talking about all these people.
All God's people. All God's
people. If they would just listen right up front, these things, and history might not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. It looks very familiar to something that's gone on in the past. And so people are people. People are going to be people. And I read a book, I've told you guys in the past, that there was this massive book that I had to read in college. It was a book of Westerns. It was a Western civilization class. I had to take 2 semesters. And we had to read a lot of that book, and it was the most boring freaking book. It was basically the history of the development of Western civilization. And I remember asking the professor, Dr. Jack Lehman, I remember asking him at the end of that year, I said, why did you make us read that horrible book? And he said, one reason. He said, I want you to think back about what you read. He said, all you read about was man's inhumanity to man. That's all you read. He said it was, and I mean, that thing was so expansive. The life of Jesus took up a paragraph that big. That was it in that entire book. It was expansive. But he said, all you read about was man's inhumanity to man.
You know what the biggest book I ever read in high school was? It was like this thick, and it was green. Do you know what it was?
Moby Dick.
No, I never read Moby Dick. If anybody names it in the chat, I will send them
War
a
and
copy
Peace.
I will send them a copy of your book. But they have to name it in the chat. I'm not going to say it.
No, you're not going to. They got to name it in the chat.
They got to name it in the chat.
I just don't believe you read a book that was that thick.
Well, I read most of it, and then I watched the movie. And that movie was sad too. Poor old Fodderwing.
You're terrible, dude. You're a terrible dude. I mean, those books, you hadn't even read those books that are up there behind you.
Yeah, I've read every single cover of every one of those books.
Yeah. Well.
Wait, let's see what's behind me. Wings to Fly, Stephen Scott. I have not finished that one. I'm working on
Yeah.
it right there. Uh,
I love what people say. Some people said the Bible. Some people said War and Peace. Some people said Pride and Prejudice. That'd be awesome. Grapes of Wrath. Fodder Wing is not in any of those.
you know what book it is, don't you?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course I do. It's not Wuthering Heights.
No.
Grapes of
Now,
Wrath
I did
again.
do a book report on Where the Red Fern Grows. Like, I don't know.
There it is. Katie Michael Hutton.
Oh, she got it. The Yearling.
Yep, the Yearling.
Yep. All right.
Nailed it.
So I did a book report on Where the Red Fern Grows like maybe 10 times in my whole entire school career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to know that book really well. Teachers don't check with each other from year to year.
I don't know how you would teach these days in the age of Chat GPT or AI or all that stuff. I don't know how anybody would do that one.
No, there's absolutely no way you can. Although they have the programs, the teachers can run it through, but they also have counter programs that the student can run it through to make it look like it's not been altered. So it's like it's just computers fighting each other for to pretend like they're not cheating or using.
I'll tell you this:
other.
I can make. I've studied. I told you I took a course last year in the early part of this year about AI. I took a class on it because I was wanting to see what was up. I can make anything. I can make anything you say. I can come up with a deal that would make an AI deal say that what you said was AI. Even if it originates from you, I can get something to say that it originated from AI. So I get people all the time. They're like, "This is AI. This is AI," and it's getting harder and harder. Like David and I have had some stuff that posted on like Instagram or whatever. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think that's AI. We need to go back and get rid of that. And people are like, I don't know, dude. Is that AI? Like, it's hard to tell these days.
You're talking about humanity, man. That takes the humanity out of everything. You imagine, because as things progress with the AI and stuff and the stock trading and stuff like that, it's all going to be manipulated by AI. And it's going to be like anybody can get on there, plug in their thing, and they can sit back and kick back and not do nothing. Let their AI
and now I
run
think
it.
it's Chat GPT. Chat GPT has got a deal now where it's, I guess, I think it was Chat GPT now where they're taking off any of the filters where you can just do like whatever you want to call it, adult pornographic content or whatever. It's not going to filter any of that stuff out. It's going to destroy humanity. I mean, it just is. It's going to kill critical thinking and common sense. Nobody's going to have a creative bone left. I mean, the number one song in country music is AI generated and AI performed.
Yeah, guess what? I haven't heard it.
Me either. Refuse.
I don't even know what they're talking about when they were talking about it.
Yeah, and but
I try to find the real songwriters and the real people that put the music out. And there's a lot of them out there. You got to go look for those who are writing songs and singing their own songs, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm reading the chat here while we're looking at it. There's a lot of people who their little struggles with AI. I want to get into this stuff because they're talking about releasing the Epstein files today. There's nothing new under the sun. I want to talk a little bit about this leadership vacuum in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death and kind of what's going on. It's a glaring problem, I think, amongst conservatives, but also in the sociological landscape of where we are as political voices, or at least American voices, patriotic voices. And I want to get into that. So let's go ahead and run our little top stories here. I want you guys to see something.
I've got my back to Charlie about, I don't know, less than 10 meters off to his right. And my area of responsibility, we had a lot of people coming up some staircases there, and it was starting to fill in. And so I was watching that, and I remember I heard the gunfire, and then I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard that bullet slap him. And so you hear two sounds actually, and so you hear the actual shot, and then you hear the bullet hit him in the neck, like you hear it. And so in my head, I had an attribution to that. Oop, I know what that is. And so I turned And when I turned, started running, that's when Dan grabbed him. And I mean, this is a live fire event. It's not, everybody thinks in hindsight, well, this is a one-shot assassination. No, in our heads, there's
You don't
fire.
know what that is.
There's fire. There's more to come, right? And so Dan grabs Charlie, and then
Who's Dan?
Dan was the guy standing right next to Charlie when he got shot on the stage, and then I was to the right of Dan.
Okay.
And so he grabs him, and then I turn and see him start to the ground, but then I'm just thinking gunfire. And then he's leading to the ground because I'm on his right, where he was shot right here in the left of his neck. And so I jumped down on top of Charlie to cover him because where we're at, it's concealment at best. It's a tabling with cloth on it, so it's not hard cover. Our guys are starting piling back in, and they're down, putting a human shield around him, but it's still just concealment. It's not cover. And so I initially dove down on top of him and just was on him almost face to face. And then when I was doing that, I went down, I could see the wound. And so I immediately shoved my hand into the wound to stop the bleeding, just trying to find the pressure. And it was coming out still. And I'm on top of him, like close. And it was still coming out enough that it squirted through my fingers and I could taste it on my lips. And so I was like, man, this is a bad wound, right? And so
All right, let's stop it right there.
I was just
you get into that, and it's just a graphic deal. And the reason I show that and want you to see the human element of that is because it's easy to forget. You get lost in the repeat of the videos and people's speculation on it, and Candace talking about it, and all these. Now you're on to the next thing with TPUSA events, and you sort of forget this man that lost his life. And in a little while, I want to talk to you about that loss and how it created a vacuum, and how vacuum reveals our hearts, right? And so, it's not just for how we, look at things that are going to happen after the fact. It's we tend to forget that this was a man, this is a father, this is a husband, right? And so, this is something that really truly matters for all of us in regards to how we look at this, how we proceed. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. But Dan, we know Dan. He kept referring to Dan. We've known Dan for years and done a lot of events with Dan. And I mean, these are good guys. They cared about Charlie, man. They really did.
I don't know what it is about that video clip, but all of a sudden, the feeling inside of me, it was anger that the event happened. You know what I mean? It was not sad, not anything like that. I started feeling angry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's senseless.
Yeah.
Which is why I started this out at the very beginning. Cain and Abel. You what I said yesterday in a short clip about that the kid that shot Trump. You coming out with, he's got transgender affiliations, he's got furry fascinations, he's they them pronouns, and I came out talking about how when identity gets fractured, your perception of reality gets fractured, and when you start to disintegrated people disintegrate culture, and they'll disintegrate other lives because they see everything as a target and as an enemy, right? And that's yeah. I like how Linda thinks she's still directing from the truck.
Yeah, producer.
Linda, we're not producing anything, Linda. Like it's the audio, if it drops from coming in and out of clips, is coming out. She said, "A little better, thank you." I can see Linda with the headphones on. "Little better, thank you."
Thank you, Miss Producer.
We don't have anything to do with it. Sometimes you go in and out of these clips, and it loses it. But yeah, I think that's the deal. And when you think about Charlie dying, and this is the thing. This is not new. I mean, again, I go back to how there's nothing new under the sun. As graphic as all that is, Charlie dies. There's this massive leadership vacuum that's left. And you know what vacuums do in a situation like that? They don't create division. Like we're seeing all this division now. And I wish we could go back and hear what Harpole was saying there. That he hears that thwack. If you've ever hunted, you know that thwack sound. You know it. And that's what we call it, thwack. I heard the thwack. And so you hear the gun report, and then you hear the thwack. That's the bullet hitting the target. And you go, oh, no, I hit him. I heard the thwack.
Yeah.
And so when he talks about that, I want you to see that. There's a human element in here, and everybody's wanting to debate. And they're wanting to see what Candace has to say next, and all of this crap going on. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got this conspiracy out there, and this consumed us. Let me tell you, when a vacuum happens, and Charlie left a vacuum, he left a leadership vacuum, he left a voice vacuum, a platform vacuum. They don't create division. They reveal the division that's already there.
Yeah,
and that's a scriptural principle there. What were you going to say?
There's a space that naturally has to be filled.
It's got to be filled. For instance, Moses is leading the people of Israel, and he dies. And Joshua is his successor. Now, you can tell me all the different things Moses did. Most people can't tell me what Joshua did. I can tell you a few things Joshua did. But for some reason, God laid that mantle of leadership on Joshua. He represented the next generation. 3 times in Scripture, God has to tell Joshua, be strong and courageous because the people are divided and unsettled. The reason they were unsettled is because they just lost Moses and a vacuum was created. When the Apostle Paul left the church at Ephesus, he warned their elders, and he actually alludes to this in his letter in Ephesians. He says, there's going to be from among you, from your own group, there's going to be wolves that are going to rise up, and their whole purpose is to divide the flock. So we're seeing that happening right now amongst those who have historically called themselves conservatives. They're rising up, and you got to be careful because the wolves and people who never intended to be a wolf will rise up, and they'll become a wolf in nature when that vacuum happens. You remember when Jesus, we talked about it on Before the Noise the other day, when Jesus ascended into heaven, the disciples kept asking about political authority because they kept saying, okay, so now, Lord, are you going to restore the kingdom to Israel? What are you going to do? And then the only thing they knew before they got the Holy Spirit was to place Matthias in the spot where Judas Iscariot left it. And that wasn't the wrong thing, but it wasn't the main focal point there. And until they got the Holy Spirit, they were more focused about their structuring and their political authority and all that stuff. So my point is, when you have those moments of leadership transition, they're going to expose something that was already simmering under the surface. There's ego, there's ambition, there's insecurity, there's mistrust, there's competing visions. And now you see all these people, like again, 6 months ago, most people couldn't tell me Charlie Kirk's wife's name. Right?
Right.
And now everybody knows it's Erica. And I'm not saying that she was going to fill the void, but she did. We naturally put her in that void. Andrew Colvett, 6 months ago, most people couldn't tell you who Andrew Colvett was. Now he's hosting the Charlie Kirk show. Most people weren't caring what Candace Owens really had to say about, she had all her kind of stuff going on. She's worried about the president of France's wife and whether that was a man and all this kind of stuff. And you listen to her sort of like a novelty. But now, everybody's hanging on. She's the #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah, which makes no sense to me.
Well, it ain't because I'm listening to it.
I think it's just that drama, that urge for people just wanting. It's not even. It doesn't matter what the story is. They're just her way of presenting it. That's leaving you hanging on a thread that you want to see. You got to see the next episode.
Right.
You got to.
And I can just tell you that the man's inhumanity to man, it's not a cliffhanger. It happens. Before this, in light of the Epstein files, if anything comes out on this, we were talking about, will there be a red flag event? It wouldn't surprise me at all if there was not some kind of mass event that happened that's violent to distract from all of this stuff. But the point I'm trying to get to everybody is a kingdom of God perspective. It doesn't panic when things get exposed. It sees all of those things as a purification process. because I truly believe that God brings some hidden fractures into light so his people can decide whether they're going to walk according to the conspiracies and the speculations, that's walking in the flesh, or if they're going to let God reveal some things, that's walking in the spirit. So political division, it doesn't ever come from the truth. It comes from the flesh around the truth. Does that make sense? So in other words, somebody grabs a nugget of truth and they're like, you know what? I can build a platform on this. I can wrap my voice around this, and we can become really popular really fast. But again, if you look at the root, what do I always say my motto is? The issue is never the issue. You dig beneath that issue, you're going to find some traces of jealousy and discord and rage and selfish ambition, some factionalism and division, envy. That's all you get on Twitter. I mean, I can't tell you, anytime I say something comes out about the Epstein file, people got to say to me, are you going to go back to the White House for a photo op? I wasn't there for a photo op. A photo op found me. I wasn't looking for that. None of us there were looking for that. But again, division that's there, it's rarely about ideology. It's always about identity. What that tells me is those people are pissed off that they didn't get invited up there for a potential photo op.
100%. And if they called you tomorrow for a photo op, you would go.
They'd go. If the White House calls you tomorrow, and I'd say to any one of you guys out there that want to bitch about it, you'd go up there and you would have done the exact same thing. But see, that's what happens when the flesh of man becomes the engine of political discourse. Because the devil doesn't have to plant a single lie when that happens. We tear ourselves apart from the inside. And that's what's happening. That's why we'll probably never get to the truth of JFK or MLK or Epstein or Charlie Kirk or whatever conspiracy or Las Vegas or anything, because the devil works in grief, transition, and uncertainty. He exploits those emotional moments. And we're too busy worrying about how it's going to reflect on our political party or our platform to honestly get it to the truth. Because again, what did I say a minute ago? You always have the truth wrapped in flesh. Flesh is wrapped around the truth, and we can't get to it because people are protecting it at all costs. So it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And let's switch gears here. Let's talk about the Epstein thing. Switch over. Let's go over to here's Trump. And I don't like this. Nobody asked me if I liked it or not. Nobody needs my approval or disapproval. But Trump's he's gonna lash out at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, whether you love her, hate her, whatever, she's a product of all of this rhetoric. Marjorie Taylor Greene emerged because of the factionalism. That's my new word today, factionalism. All of the division that came out there, and people rallied around the divisions. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she got very acerbic and very vocal and very well known because she got vocal and people started gravitating towards that. And there's a lot of congressmen and women out there that people have never heard their names. But somebody asked me recently about Tim Burchett in Tennessee, and they were like, why all of a sudden is everybody putting hate on him? I said, because he came out and decided to get vocal on some weird things, some crazy things, and started talking about it that nobody else is talking about. And so when you do that, you become a product of that. And now the same thing that made her is consuming her, and I don't like this, whether you agree with her or not, but the President of the United States, I don't think, needs to engage in this type of rhetoric. So play the clip and we'll talk about it.
See what happens.
Taylor Greene says her life could be at danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you? See what happens.
I don't think so either. It's just that because she did become kind of that loudmouth at the school board meeting. Everybody knows her. She's going to run her mouth. She's going to say everything she feels, and then they're kind of past it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at what happened. You bring up a good point, Tiffany, let me read your point first. You talk about Trump and Elon Musk. Well, nobody's out there vandalizing. Nobody's out there vandalizing Teslas right now, right? Because, again, Elon kind of marginalized himself off he went back to doing his stuff. And now he's not a political polarizing figure right now. He and Trump apparently are like, okay, good, here's the handshake. What we did is what we did. But when, I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump are going to, I think she's confused going, what did I do? Well, we can all nitpick that. But I don't want Donald Trump calling me a traitor. That's a pretty strong word. Now what he's saying is she's not a traitor to the United States. He's saying he's a traitor to the movement, a traitor to him, right? But again, pretty funny, Marjorie Taylor Greene, pretty creative. That might be a Laura Loomer, actually, but he picked up on it. But here was her response. Play the clip.
I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think?
That's one of those things where I look at her and say, too little, too late. Like, you helped create the rhetoric. You helped create the rhetoric. Standing up during the State of the Union address, screaming, "You lie, you lie." And boy, everybody loved her for doing that when Joe Biden was giving his speech, right? And, breaking decorum, that's the thing. Everybody's got to break decorum these days in order to get notoriety. They're willing to be censured in order to punch through the smoke and be heard. Because, again, all these political pawns are out there trying to be popular. And you got people out there. You got the American people who are very vulnerable. They're very suspicious these days. And, all the devil has to whisper in people's ear is, well, if so-and-so had been in charge, he wouldn't have done it like that. You should be the one who's in charge right now. The legacy is being betrayed. You can't trust that person. You're being sidelined. And so now people start to speak up. And I see it a lot even in Trump. When Trump sees something and he doesn't like it, well, he immediately goes to the press and he's like, and it's a laser pointer to cats. And everybody rallies around that. And you can't just say, listen, can we debate? Can we dialogue? Can we discourse? And I said what I said about Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday on the program. She made some poor decisions, in my opinion, that were divisive. And so now to come on and say, well, can we just stop the violence? Honey, you went on The View.
This has been going on since the beginning of time. This is not This is not just in the last few years, all of a sudden the rhetoric has gotten bad. It's always been there. We're just, now the world's able to see it because of all the social media and all the news and stuff out there. So
and I go back to what I said earlier. Cain killed Abel with a rock. This the whole thing. Oh, I just want the political rhetoric to tone down. Well, you can accuse me of whatever you want to, but I call people out. I ridicule and I mock. I do those things because I want people to see the lack of common sense that's in our world today. And if I can use any kind of humor to get that to happen, but, there's some legitimate hate mongers out there that are doing what they're doing. And, you're not going to reel that back in. That is out of Pandora's box at this point. And you look at this stuff and you go, okay, you have these moments. They're disguised as political, but they're very spiritual things that are going on in our world. And that includes all of this stuff, whether it's the Epstein files, the vacuum left by Charlie Kirk, people trying to fill that spot, their conspiracy theories, all of that. This is why Paul said we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. The battle ultimately is not over the platforms and the politics. It's ultimately over unity, humility, and purpose. And politicians don't want any of those three things. If they can keep people disunified, ununified, whatever the word is, divided, and pursuing prideful ambitions over humility and chasing after, these listless vain pursuits instead of purpose, then we stay so freaking distracted that the truth never comes out. This is why I keep saying over and over again, Jeffrey Epstein, you can release the files, you can put every celebrity, every politician, every elitist, every lobbyist, every bigwig, every cabal member, you can put them in prison, and kids will still get trafficked tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, they need to be held accountable. But you think, don't you dare for a minute think that once those people get held accountable, that stuff like sexual abuse and victimization of children or young, underage people, or these innocents is going to go away. It's not going to go away. Ain't gonna change. And that's the thing, man. We got to see deeper than this, because what did I say? The issue is never the issue. All right, let me take a deep breath. Let me be sure. Are we're good on yeah, we're good on that. All right,
good. Take a deep breath. You know, Donald Trump's not acting from the defensive stance. You know, kind of at first in the beginning and maybe the first term, you know, a little defensive, but he's, you know, his stance is different. So he's ready to strike at any moment. He's, you know, he's going to go after these people that, you know, before they come after him, really.
Yeah. Well, Trump pulled his endorsement of Marjorie.
Yeah.
And, you know, we saw that. We looked at it. We, you know, you can read all of this kind of stuff right here. Marjorie came out with a response today. And here's the deal. He can do that because he knows whoever runs in Rome, Georgia, is going to be a Republican. Whoever wins in Rome, Georgia, which is where she represents, which is, you know, Northwest Georgia, there's going to be a Republican if she gets primaried. So, but to say I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's got to be kind of awkward for her boyfriend Brian Glenn to walk in there into the Oval Office today and ask interview questions with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia in the same room after all of this. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she comes back with this whole, and the phrase traitor, that's a strong phrase. And again, all of this is over wanting to supposedly release the Epstein files. I think there's more to it than that. But she says the real fight, well, I'll just play the clip.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people whom we serve as representatives here in Congress demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that.
Yeah, and it is going to be a fight. And which, again, I'll just tell you guys, take it from me. People that I thought were my friends, or people that I thought were, I'll just leave it at that, people that I thought were my friends. Boy, I've gotten some blistering stuff from them over what? I mean, why in the world are you so concerned with my opinion on things? The point is, political alliances, if you think you're joining together over political alliances or political agreements, those get dissolved real fast. And this is a perfect example. So now you got Mike Johnson, who says that he's probably going to have a unified vote of the Republicans for the release of the Epstein files. He's already talked to John Thune, who is over the GOP in the Senate, and he's basically saying, listen, we released this. We don't have the redactions of the victims' names. You need to probably put that amendment and that addendum in there, because this thing is getting rolled out roughshod. I've said from the very beginning, this deal is getting reckless, man. So she's right in one regard. The battle's just going to get started with this whole deal, man.
Don't you have to kind of question, though, if is the stability of the country bigger than the victims and amended? How do you say that word? They're anonymous.
Their anonymity. Yeah.
That's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, but are they? I mean, you've already seen Virginia Giuffre killed herself, supposedly, allegedly. And I don't want to make light of her death, but, how many of these people are, I mean, these women, we just see the ones that are willing to come out and be vocal. We're not even talking about the people that you have no clue about.
Yeah.
There's been a few that have come out and been vocal on this deal, but we don't know what level of victimization, what that tragedy has done to their inner person, their spirit, their psyche, their soul, their mind. And so, we don't know what level of place they're at in life. You just come out and they're having, every time these headlines come out, they're having to relive this horror. They're having to relive this nightmare. And so that's a concern for me, man.
Is it worth the cost of, the country being that divided over Epstein and all this? I mean, where do you draw the line? I'm sorry it happened to them. I truly am. But if we truly want to know who's what and who's doing what and where, we have to have the information out. Release it all wherever. And I said,
but what is all? I mean, what does that even look like?
I don't know. I don't know what all looks like. It might be big nothing.
It might be. It might be. I can tell you that releasing. We have two places here. We have two places that we live in right here. You've got the holding these people accountable that are guilty, but then you've got protecting the broken and the innocent, the people who have been already injured by this, right? So this is
what are the statute of limitations on sex crimes?
Well, we're within them, whatever they may be. We are within them. I mean, we're talking about stuff that's happened in the last 20 years, in the last decade, in some cases, or at least the last 15 years. But you got two people here. You got those who committed evil, and then you got those who were victimized by the evil. And so we want to talk about how do you apply the kingdom of God to that, and how do you apply the scripture to that. God is all about exposing the guilty, but he wants to shield the wounded. And so I can't expect the Senate and the Congress to do that properly because they can't balance a checkbook. But I think that we're supposed to reveal the corruption, but at the same time cover the broken. And so, we've got to do that. I mean,
I don't see how you could. It's got to be all or nothing.
Welcome to the issue at hand. This is why I keep saying to people, you just want to say, release the files. Okay, but what if this is your daughter? Like, what if this is your wife? What if this is your mother that's on this thing? And now
we're going to have problems.
I mean, there's going to be some issues that are there. You go and you read Exodus 22. Exodus 22, God makes it crystal clear that when harm is inflicted on vulnerable people, the responsibility of the community is not only to punish the offender, but to restore and protect the one who was harmed. So are we in position to do that?
Well, what happens though, Chad, because when that happens, when you go, okay, well, we're going to defend these, we're going to keep these victims secret. It looks like, and I'm just saying what it looks like to the outside world, you're trying to hide something.
Well, it's going to look like that no matter what, which is why I say this is the problem. This is the paradox. This is the problem.
Are the Democrats going to fight this? I mean, who's going to fight it this week? Because they're going to fight each other. They got to take the opposite position.
Trump came out and Trump said, hey, listen, this is not a Republican problem. This is a Democrat problem. No, I think this is a human problem.
Yeah.
Like I said, Epstein is not the disease. He's the symptom. It's going to keep going no matter what. And, I refer to Exodus 22, Isaiah 42. Whenever Isaiah's prophesying about the Messiah, he said, God will not break a bruised reed or extinguish a smoldering wick. He's talking about how we should be towards victims, right? And we're not doing that. So there's another thing. There's another element of that. You release these files without being really scrupulous in the details of how you're doing it. Not only are you exposing that, you're exposing people that might potentially be guilty that aren't guilty, and they're going to get lumped into that. And you want to talk about it's
Well, see, but and all of a sudden,
dangerous.
If you do it like that, then certain people become gatekeepers for other people, and that's a problem within itself.
Well, that's already what we got, because you got lawmakers in Washington, D.C. So let me tell you what we do know. We do know there's a file out there. There's a file. I mean, there's something. There's information. Well, she lied about that. We know.
Yeah.
But I'll just say, truth without compassion is cruelty. And compassion without truth is compromise. I've said that over and over again on Before the Noise or wherever. But that's the beauty of the Scripture in the kingdom of God. It refutes both extremes, right? So we got to have compassion. We got to have truth. We got to have truth. We got to have compassion. It's a spiritual deal, man. So I'm praying about this.
Yeah.
But you're right. Kevin Wade says that, there's photos, there's videos. Someone has seen them. If there's documentation, someone knows about it, and that someone is protecting the guilty. And that's what we got to cut through.
But our FBI and DOJ, just the new one said there's nothing there.
Well, look, I mean, you look at just the breaking news yesterday with this kid, the would-be assassin there in Butler, Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
And they said he doesn't have a digital footprint. Well, not according to Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson just did, a 30-minute documentary that exposed all kind of stuff, the message boards and stuff where all of his different pseudonyms and anonymous profiles where he was they, them, and all this kind of crap. Apparently, he had quite the digital footprint. But the FBI, according to them, said, well, we can't find anything. That's horse.
Yeah, that's
crap.
Our FBI is just not as up to speed as they need to be.
Or they're corrupted.
Yeah.
Or they're corrupted. And, I mean, we have no doubt about it. I mean, out of 38,000 FBI people, I mean, we know. I mean, why isn't – I mean, we still haven't had Peter Strzok and Lisa Page held accountable for what they did blatantly with text messages on the 2020 election or the 2016 election or whatever. Time's running all together. The 2016, 2020. God, I can't – what day is it? But people ask, why cover up the victims' names? Because they deserve to be covered up. They didn't ask for that. They got trafficked into a situation. They got abused in the worst way possible, and they shouldn't be forced to relive that.
But they are reliving it even without their names being released. It's in the news every day.
Time it comes up, which is why I say, listen, in my heart of hearts, I want them to vote to release these files. I want those files to come out, not out of curiosity, but out of a sense of justice. I want it to send a message loud and clear to the problems that's out there. Like I said, Epstein's not the disease, he's the symptom. But the disease is still out there. So I want to send a message that this American government, our justice system, whatever sense of righteousness we have left, even if it's a shred of fiber, whatever sense of right and wrong we got left, we're going to come after those who harm the most innocent among us. Yeah. If we can do that, that's what I want to see happen.
Now, that being said, if they, votes to release and all that, there's no reason they should already have a version that's redacted their names. And if they don't, they're idiots. It's just like our healthcare system. You got to have a plan in place.
But here's the problem. The problem. You can't have a victimless crime. So if you're going to take somebody,
would they put Ghislaine Maxwell into prison?
No, but the only reason they put her in prison is she trafficked for him, for Epstein. See, she was the one who trafficked for Epstein.
Who did she traffic?
She's not in jail for trafficking to anyone else. That's not what she was found guilty of. That's the loophole. She trafficked for Epstein. And so Epstein's dead, and they're not naming anyone else. And that's a problem because we know that she did traffic for other people. We know that she did do that. She did gain, people for those folks.
And the truth is interred with his bones.
But here's the other deal. Here's the other deal. You can't, and now we're out here, did Donald Trump perform some kind of sexual act on Jeffrey Epstein? That's what we're speculating about right now. That's what we're dealing with. Who did I say? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton.
The email said Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba.
I know a lot of Bubbas. They're not all Bill Clinton.
And some of them don't even know how to spell Bubba right. But, you know, you missed Bubba the other day. He was there. And,
oh, nice. Good
anyway.
deal. Yeah, well, he texts me every now and then.
B-U-B-A. And but here's the thing. They're saying, you know, Trump performed some kind of sex act on Bill Clinton. And I'm like, you know, here's my thing. If you can bring these charges, let's say you release the file. Okay, now they're guilty in the court of public opinion. Well, that's not the Justice Department. How do we now move to holding them accountable so that real justice is played out in their life? You can't do that without a victim willing to testify. If you don't have, look at Diddy. Diddy should have gone away for a long time, but they went after the wrong charges on Diddy. They bit off way more than they could prove in the court of law, because being a scumbag piece of shit is not the same as being guilty and proven in the court of law with evidence. So you have to have something that's actionable, but that can be verified in the court of law, because being guilty in the court of public opinion is not the same as being held accountable in a court of law in the American justice system. That's why the victims matter.
Yeah, I would say the court of public opinion a lot of times is way worse than anything our justice system could ever do to anybody.
Maybe, but I mean, we talk a big game.
Yeah,
we talk a big game. I hadn't seen any politicians out there being tarred and feathered in a long time.
Yeah.
So you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Look at all the dancing Trumps. Let's get some of those dancing Trumps going in the chat. I got some dancing banana.
I have to go look for it. I have to hit the smiley face and
Linda. You know, I only see what I'm allowed to see here with these emojis, right? Because I'm doing it on my
they've
phone.
added so many. Oh wait, I don't know. This ain't Rumble. They ain't Rumble emojis.
I keep telling Maggie Moo to create a Party Foul Steve emoji, and she hasn't done it yet. There's the
that would
dancing
be sexy.
Trump. What it?
Yeah.
What it?
I have a cartoon character of myself somewhere exists from one of my old podcasts.
Let's do a pinhead of the day. Let's end on a good note. Let's see if we can do here.
Do we have any pinheads other than who do we got?
Let's see what we got. See what David's got for us. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Neutral.
Is that wait, is that a boy or a girl?
It's a neutral.
Can't tell. Play it.
I miss seeing your face. Well, I miss being safe. There is violence in disease. Please tell me again how you disagree with the scientific studies as you mock disability. It wasn't hard for me to learn better and do better, to understand that we all share air together, and that to continue to center my own comfort and pleasure is to do the work of the oppressor. You cave to the pressure to uphold the status quo, to throw up your hands and say, well, that's just the way things go. When Black or trans or other marginalized folks are disproportionately becoming too sick to leave their homes, you post fuck Columbus, but your actions condone the very same practices the colonizers honed. And if it isn't enough to care about others, the numbers don't lie. You are going to suffer. If you don't want to listen, you can't say we didn't warn you. It may feel easy now to ignore and conform to the normalization of chronic illness and pain, but it does beg the question, why do you have the right to maim? You complain about staying at home for a few months. Meanwhile, your children develop scar tissue on their lungs. Long COVID now higher in children than asthma. Just more evidence we fall for their propaganda. Because they tried to say kids aren't harmed by the virus. But tell that to myalgic encephalomyelitis. Every break in transmission prevents death and disability. Is it really that hard to wear a respirator to get groceries?
She's on point. I will say she is definitely on point.
Did you just pronoun her?
It's on point. He has nice points. They have nice points. I got to cover my face, but I'm not going to cover my nipples. It's like, I'm like, come on, you're putting that on there. You don't look at the videos. Oh, my nipples are sticking out.
Yeah, I don't think the thing was about gender at all.
Oh, honestly. I know it had nothing to do with gender. That's just where it went.
But it definitely probably should turn the thermostat up. Little chilly in there. And I will throw Ted Cruz in as a pinhead of the day as well. People say we never pick on our own. Ted Cruz needs to shut up about any idea of running for president. Needs to stop running. Just talk about running for president. Let me look at this right here. Did y'all see David Medina's deal the other day He and his beautiful significant other, they were at a party the other day, and David was wearing his cowboy hat. Look at David.
Did he go as you to a Halloween party?
No, he wasn't a Halloween party. They went to a party. They had to wear a cowboy hat, and there's David. He just sent this picture, and he's producing the show. He had to put the cowboy hat on, so he added a third in there. Pull Teddy Cruz up there. Lion Ted Cruz. Pull him up. Put him on the dill. He says he's going to
Why is he even – get your mealy mouth just – stay out of the ring.
Yeah. You want to put it
You're
up
a great
David?
debater, dude. I'll give you that. You're a master debater.
Do you want to put it up there, David? Anyway.
Man, that's why I've said over and over, Trump has got to line up J.D. Vance or whoever for succession. And I'll take Marco Rubio over
I never in a million years would have thought I would have said I'd take Marco Rubio.
I never would have said it. Never would have said it. But he's a bulldog, dude. He was just laying in wait. He was that beta male waiting to get put in an alpha position. And boom.
Yeah.
He excelled.
Well, he did. I wasn't impressed with him as a senator in Florida, but booyah. Look at Steve getting
it just took the right place and the right job, and maybe he took a little, learned a few things from Trump.
Well, he knows how to get the job done. He's doing 7 of them. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. You guys got the. I'm reading the comments. That was a dance of bananas. Got an American flag in there. Oh Lord have mercy. All right, we'll see what happens. Yep. But I'm telling you, there's nothing new under the sun. Party Foul Steve, final words. We got to get out of here.
Yeah,
brother.
I'm headed to. I got a great meeting today with for Texas Coin.
Okay.
I'm gonna go learn.
Coin.
I'm gonna go get educated on the Texas cryptocurrency, and I hope I come back with some information. It just sounds like a lot. I hope my brain can handle it. Y'all pray for me.
Well, if anybody's curious about that, I can put you in touch with the people who can get you squared away on the Texas Coin. It's in all the airports, man. Every advertisement out there. Shoot me a message. I'll get you in touch with my boy Charlie. He'll take care of you. Party Foul Steve.
Today.
Go learn about it.
You know where I'm going to have that meeting in a very special place. I'll let you know about it tomorrow. I don't need anybody showing up to my meeting.
Take notes, Daddy. Take notes. All right, Party Foul Steve, following Matt, Party Foul Steve. All right, guys, listen, let me just give you my final word here. Let's do this. Oh, the pressure of a final word. Let me just say, all right, and I said a lot, and I'm going to have to go back and maybe look at what I said because I'm not sure what all I said. It's so confusing. But there's nothing new under the sun. And at the end of the day, let me just put it this way. The whole conversation about what we're talking about, this whole deal comes down to one thing, and that is light. L-I-G-H-T, okay? Light. The world is terrified of it. The kingdom of God is built on it. And you know, whether it's what happened with Charlie Kirk, filling that dark vacuum of the leadership and voice void, whether it is the Epstein files, whatever's going on in our world, it all comes down to light. And we're watching this moment where powerful people, they want the shadows, and victims need protection. And we got this nation that now I saw in the chat, somebody said, what do we do? And we have this nation finally asking whether the truth still matters at all. And from a kingdom perspective, the answer is simple. Yes, it does. It always has. Now, you and I, you walk in righteousness, whatever that means there. That you walk in, I want to follow God's will for my life. I want to chase after truth. I don't fear the truth. We fear what happens when it gets buried. We don't back down from exposing the corruption. What we do back down to is when innocent lives get trampled in the process of it. So that's all I'm saying is we got to be careful here. And I'm not sure. The Epstein thing's not going to go away. That deal's not going to go away. So it's got to get dealt with. Got to shine some light in there. But I think we can hold on to both truths with the strength of Christ, boldness and compassion, exposure and protection, justice and mercy. And I hope that's what's going to happen. So these Epstein files, whatever comes out, I'm telling you, it's not just paperwork. You're going to see the proof of a spiritual battle between darkness that destroys the vulnerable, but yet a God who I hope defends them, and I believe he wants to. And I hope that we can be his agents in that. And if we're going to be the people of the kingdom then I think we stand on both sides of the line at once. We call for full accountability for those who abuse their power and full protection for those whose power was stolen from them by the abuser. Because I think that's what it means to walk in the light. We shine that light where the evil hides, and we shield it where the wounded need a place to breathe again. They need to be left in the shadows. It all comes down to light. Some need exposure to it. Some need to be hidden from it in this moment. See, truth is not our enemy. Light is not the danger. The danger is pretending that secrecy is safety and silence is compassion. So let the world wrestle with the cost of truth. Let the kingdom of God remind us that light heals. And I truly pray that by bringing some of these things to light, that those victims that are in the shadows will be healed by that very light. Because I think that justice can restore. Christ himself stands with every victim who thought no one ever would. And maybe, may we be the kind of people who refuse the darkness and honor those that are broken and welcome the light until it does that holy work that I believe it wants to happen. So here we are. It's a brand new Chad Prather show going on, right? I'm excited about it. I'm enjoying it. And I'm happy to have that chat with you guys. All right, Before the Noise was fun this morning. It was good, and I want you to join me again tomorrow morning, 8, 7 Central. Do it over here on Rumble. If you've not subscribed yet to my Rumble channel, would you do that? And before you get out of here, click like. We've only got 146 likes on here. Click that sucker. Hit that little thumbs up button. And we do have a new format that's coming of this show. It's going to be evolving, right? I'm kind of one of those people that wants to say something when there's something that needs to be said, not say it whether it needs to be said or not, just because we got to fill time. So starting in December, we're going to do a full show on Tuesdays and Thursdays right here in this time slot. And then on Monday and Wednesday and Fridays, we're going to do some shorter videos. We're going to do some things along the way. So you'll just mark your calendar for Tuesdays and Thursdays to join us. I think it's going to be a more powerful show, more impactful show, and we'll spend some time on some real serious topics, have far more conversations with some people as guests on there that I think are going to be good for us to hear. And so I'm excited about that. But I also want to encourage you to go over to Join Above the Noise. That's all, joinabovethenoise.com. That's all one big deal, joinabovethenoise.com. And sign up. Join some of our sessions that are over there. I'm enjoying them. The one I put out yesterday about finding yourself in God's story, man, it just blessed my heart, even though I'm the one who said it. I feel like the Lord kind of gave me some wisdom in all that deal. And David's just rumbling through all kind of little pop-ups right there. It's all good. It's all good. Prathertees.com's got some stuff. Use promo code CHAD15. But hit that like button. Hit like, share, and subscribe. And go find the Before the Noise podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to it over there. And leave us a rating and review. Let's drive that Before the Noise up higher in the rankings because it gets it in more people's ear holes. Pray for our nation, folks. I'm praying for you. You pray for me. And stay tuned. We got a lot more stuff coming throughout the day on our Rumble and YouTube channels and just where podcasts are offered. I'm always talking. I'm enjoying it. Because I enjoy you, and I'm thankful for you. So God bless you guys, and I mean that when I say it. I love you very much. And if I don't see you before then, I'll see you tomorrow morning, Before the Noise. Until then, God bless. Bye.